Damn, I'm hooked.
I had a whole joke here about how Rise of the Guardians doesn't pass the Bechdel test, but I still appreciate the movie. But I couldn't get the line right, so insert joke here. We are doing Toothiana, the Tooth Fairy. Yay! Fun fact, actually. When William Joyce, the writer of the Guardians of Childhood books, was first creating the Tooth Fairy, he didn't know whether or not he wanted to make it male or female. So he did a coin flip and the outcome would decide the Tooth Fairy's gender. Personally, I found that detail super cool and I hope you guys feel the same way about this design. As far as Tooth's original design goes, I think it's actually really good, except for one thing that annoys me, but I can honestly say that it's just a me thing. In her character profile, it states that her signature colors are pink/lilac. I'm sorry, where? How is this her signature color? Pinks and purples are used as accents. They're used in her wings, in her eyes, and in her eyelashes. By the way, her eyelashes are amazing, but not the point. It feels like they just put those on there because girl and because her actual main colors, which are blue and green, are already taken up by Bunny and Jack respectively. And when looking at her book design for reference,
Hello, sailor.
I like girls with swords, okay? And can you really blame me? Anyway, one thing about Tooth's movie design that I actually think really improves from the book's design is the fact that Tooth is flat-chested. Because Tooth is based off a hummingbird, she doesn't need breasts. I know that sometimes it can appear that birds have breasts, but that's only because of where their wings are situated. If Tooth had her wings where her arms were, it would have made sense, but since they're on her back, she wouldn't have them. A tip for when you're designing anthropomorphic bird characters is that you can actually use the colors of the feathers to tell whether it's male or female without using human anatomy. So in bird species, the male will have the more brightly colored feathers, while females will have more natural toned feathers. But Tooth is female and has multicolored feathers. So do with that information what you will. Moving on, for my version of Tooth, I made her a marvelous spatutail, really hoping I'm pronouncing that right, hummingbird, since in her movie design, that was the same one that she was based off. But the only real reference I made to that hummingbird in her design was giving her the two long feathers at the end and the black pattern going upwards on her chest. Also, I made her flat-chested, as she should be. You'll see that I kept the purple lashes and that I added purple a lot more in her design. The black stripe on her chest and on her waist acts like a divider to make it look like she's wearing pants and a jacket, with the undershirt, quote-unquote, being purple as well as the pants. I added a lot more light blues, mainly on her arms, on the bottom half of her face, right down to her neck, and on her tail feathers. The back of her tail feathers are also a darker blue and a yellow. There's also dark blue at the top of her head, leading to purple just underneath that. I swooped Tooth's head feathers more towards the left, because if I kept it spiked up like it was in her original, the silhouette would have been too similar to my interpretation of Pitch Black. I also gave Tooth 3 speckles on each cheek because it looked weird without it. I gave her a feather pattern that looked like a black mask for a few reasons. One, the marvelous spatutail also has that type of mask element. Two, it was so that the black could travel more, and they act as eyebrows because giving a bird eyebrows made me feel weird. As for her wings, they are pink with blue accents, and the shape of her wings are also similar to most males in bird species. If you're not picking up that she's colorful like males and has wings the shape of males, then I don't know how else to say it without just blurting it out. If you get it, you get it. I also made her nose look similar to a hummingbird's beak, and I gave her pink eyes and a flesh fang just because. I kind of like the idea that Tooth actually doesn't have teeth, even though in the movie we see that she does in fact have teeth. I like the irony. I gave Tooth yellow feathers where her ears should be to mimic earrings. Same goes for on her arms to mimic bracelets and on her legs to mimic ankle bracelets. I also put one on her chest to mimic a necklace and one on her head to mimic a crown because she's a princess. Did I forget to mention that? Did I forget to mention that Toothiana's a princess? Silly me. Yes, perfect segue. Slight spoilers for the books, but apparently Tooth was a princess next in line to rule her species, which the wiki just lists as hummingbird-human hybrid. I'm just gonna call the species fairies for simplicity's sake. So, Tooth was meant to become the ruler of the fairies, and a vengeful monkey king, if you want to learn more about that sentence, go read the book, killed her parents. Yep, Toothiana's the classic princess with dead parents trope. I don't know why her character wasn't pitched to Disney instead. This feels way more up their alley. So when trying to fit Tooth's backstory into Rise of the Guardians, I kept on coming up with the same problem when it came to the Monkey King. How would he fit into the story? Why is he immortal? Does he work with Pitch Black? Did they become allies so that they could take down Toothiana together? Why doesn't Tooth have her swords anymore? Can we give my lady back her swords? I kept on trying to think about ways to add him into the story without it being a side plot. Because if the Monkey King is a side plot, that makes Tooth's entire plot a side plot, and I really didn't want to do that. I thought of maybe giving every Guardian, like, an evil counterpart / mortal enemy. Like Sandy has Pitch Black, and Bunny has the Groundhog. Tooth would have the Monkey King. But then making a counterpart for each and every one of the Guardians and giving them their own plots just felt like too many characters at once and too many storylines to fit into the series with the amount of seasons I would hypothetically want for the show. Then I started thinking about, okay, one episode to introduce each villain counterpart, and then the rest of the time they're working as a team to take down the Guardians. But then that idea also didn't feel right. I just couldn't find a way to tie him into Tooth's present story and have it feel satisfying. Until a song lyric from Husband Hotel of all places. In the song Whatever It Takes, the line, I always thought that I would keep blood off my face, but when that thing attacked, I had to act to cross that line and keep them safe. In my head originally, that line related to a separate character in the series who is never before seen yet, look forward to that. But something clicked in my brain and I thought of Tooth. The Monkey King's presence isn't something that's haunting her right now. It used to haunt her, but now it's the memory of what she did to the Monkey King that's haunting her. So here's what I'm thinking. The Monkey King killed Tooth's parents, and in an act of revenge, she went out seeking him in order to get payback somehow. Tooth's parents trained her in the use of weapons because she was nobility and needed to defend herself. She finally caught up to the Monkey King when she found him on Earth. In an act of pure and utter rage, she killed him. And she was mortified when she came to her senses. She never expected herself to take another life. The act didn't make her feel better. She felt just as bad as the Monkey King. And from that day on, she vowed never to use her weapons again. For the way that Tooth became a guardian, each one of the guardians has the same story. They were all on Earth, and the man in the moon saw potential in them and asked them if they would like to be guardians. When he asked Tooth, she saw this as a way of redeeming herself. She was given the opportunity to help children. She was given the opportunity to brighten up lives instead of take them. Obviously, this is more of a skeleton for Tooth's backstory instead of the entire thing. Because why did the Monkey King kill Tooth's parents? Why does Tooth like teeth so much? Where do the tiny fairies come from? Obviously, if I made an entire series, I would flesh out all of these ideas. But for now, that's what I have for Toothiana. Next video will be Easter Bunny Monk, so look forward to that. And let me know your thoughts on Toothiana, the story that I came up with her movie design, her book design, and the design I came up with. I hope you guys had fun with this one, and I'll see you in the next one.